Welcome to one more interesting session of this faculty development program on leadership growth plan being delivered by Dr. Sarika Srivastava Madam, who happens to be the director of Ashoka Institute of Technology and Management at Varanasi. So I take the privilege to read out and introduce our speaker for the session, Dr. Sarika Madam. Dr. Sarika Srivastava is the director at Ashoka Institute of Technology and Management, Varanasi. She has more than 23 years of experience of academics, research and industry. She did her BE in 1997 in electrical engineering from Government College of Engineering, Jabalpur, MBA in marketing, MTech in power systems from KNIT, Sultanpur, PhD in electrical electronics engineering from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, Lucknow. She is the fellow of the Institution of Engineers. She has worked with Sislon Energy, Daman, India, as electrical engineer. She worked as with WAAREE Instruments in India in Nabal certified laboratory as electrical engineer. She is the chairperson of Ashoka Center for Innovation, Startup and Entrepreneurship at Varanasi. She has worked as the principal, the dean academics, control of examination, and head of the Department of Electrical Engineering in various AICTE engineering institutions. She is the advisor to Urvi Labs, Bangalore, India. Urvi Labs is developing technologies like solar-powered atmospheric water generation and decentralized grey water treatment to accelerate the progress towards work sustainability. She is the technical expert in UPPCL, UPRVN, and the Corporation Bank of India. She has published more than 30 research papers in international and national journals and conferences. She has published a book chapter in Springer and other international publications. She has got one patent to her credentials. She has organized several conferences, faculty development programs, workshops, and delivered keynote address at reputed institutions like IITs, IE and REC, and so on. Her areas of research includes academic leadership, managing innovation startups, policies and schemes at MSME, power system operation control, the wind energy technology, and the applications of artificial intelligence and evolutionary techniques. So I think the list goes on. Due to the time constraint, I am just curtailing it here. May I now welcome Madam to this August gathering to share her experiences in the area of leadership and make our participants learn and enrich their knowledge in the theme area. May I now request you, Madam, to take over?
Thank you so much, sir, for such a generous introduction.
My pleasure, madam. My pleasure.
Good morning, everybody. And it's my distinct privilege and pleasure to be a part of AICT-sponsored Atal FDP. And I'm grateful to the Department of Industrial Management and Industrial Engineering and Management, MS Ramaiah, Institute of Technology, Bangalore, for inviting me as a resource person. And thanks a lot for sparing your time for joining this session. And my topic of presentation is key leadership challenges. May I share the screen? I'm thankful, special thanks to Professor M. Rajesh, who is the coordinator of FDP, for wonderful coordination and for choosing such a wonderful topic of FDP. May I request, can I share the screen?
Sure, madam, you can, madam, you can.
Is it visible?
Yeah, madam. You can take the screen, PPT.
Is it visible?
It's visible, madam. It's visible.
So you had different sessions on leadership, and you know what are the various types of leaderships and all. So as far as my presentation is concerned, uh, we will talk about various traits of leaders required for, it's about corporate leadership or about academic leadership. My emphasis will be there on academic leadership as well. So what are the various traits, what are the various objectives and associated challenges? So we know that leaders are ordinary people who accept or are placed under extraordinary circumstances that bring forth their latent potential, producing a character that inspires the confidence and trust of others. So they are not from some other planet, but they have got some extraordinary skills, and when they are put under extraordinary circumstances, they are able to lead people, and they may share the vision to reach up to the goals, up to the objectives, to ultimately to meet their vision. So leadership is also about right choices. So determining the right path is about leadership. There are various skills of 21st century, most demanded, most sought after skills which are required. So some of them are resolving complex problems, because with the current condition, the organizations, the people, workforce, they are put under complex problems. So the leadership is, they have to involve themselves in resolving complex problems. They should have thinking. They should be quite inquisitive. They should be initiative. They should have enough creativity. They should have right kind of negotiation skills. And with the changing environment, enough of ample of adaptability is required. Right kind of adaptability is required, because a lot of drastic changes in the internal as well as external changes are going on. So you have to be adaptive enough, and you have to have an open mind, so you can accept the ideas being floated by others, as well as uh, by the conditions being posed before you. And decision making is one of the key skills required for a leader. Decision making is very much required, and emotional intelligence is one of the key aspects. So these are some of the skills for 21st century, and these are the futuristic. In future, by 2025, top skills which are going to be required are critical thinking, analysis, problem solving, self-management, active learning. And as we are in the field of academics, most of the participants must be a mix of people from academics and industry as well. But if we talk about critical thinking, it is required in both whether it is in academics or in corporate. In both the places, you need to have critical thinking and analysis. There is a huge amount of data, big data is there. So how to analyze those data, and as well as how in respect of the current organization, the organization with whom you are working. So you should have analytical skills. Problem solving is one of the key skills required to lead the organization. Self-management, it is very much required to self-regulate, self-manage yourself. And in this dynamic environment, new technologies are coming. So active learning is required. You cannot depend on the learnings you learned long back. You have to keep on updating yourself, upskilling yourself. So some of the leadership competencies are self-awareness, team building, perseverance, courage, curiosity, communication, transparency. Right communication is one of the skills which is largely missing. So communication, transparency, as well as interpersonal skills, softer skills, inspire energies. As a leader, you are supposed to energize the whole team, the people working under you. You are expected to inspire them, motivate them, embrace challenges, new ideas, new as the industry, the global scenario is very highly dynamic. So you have to be have creative thinking. New ideas should keep on. You need to work upon those ideas as well. And if you have achieved something, you need to be humble in it. And always you have to keep in mind that result, ultimate result, the targets as well. So these are some of the common skills you know about all of them. Honesty, sincerity, dedication, hard work, trust, ethics, wellness, all are the key attributes, characteristics much desired for a good leadership. So personal, if I talk about the personal characteristics, personal traits of a leader, so maybe their individual characteristic, personal characteristic, like how much energy and how much physical stamina you have. Because leaders are expected to work untiringly. There should be ample of energy all the time. They should have ample of physical stamina to lead the people, to lead the organization. And they should have, it is expected, your whole team is considered, you consider them as your role model. So you are expected to have intelligence, your cognitive skills should be high, knowledge, you should be judgment, your decisiveness, all are different skills which are very much associated with good leader. And personality is an important aspect. So it's about self-confidence. If you are confident, then only you can confidently lead the team. Honesty and integrity, you have to have enthusiasm, desire to lead, the very much the required aspect that you have the desire to lead. Sometimes in organization you make somebody, give the leadership positions to them, but if they are not willing, they have some other priorities. So if desire is lacking, then it's a big issue. They should be independent. There should be enough of independence which should be given by the organization to the leader, as well as the person in himself should be independent. Social characteristics are required. Old days are gone when the companies, organizations were only profit making companies. Now profit with the purpose is required, business with the purpose is required. So have to have sociality, interpersonal skills, cooperativeness, diplomacy. You need to have these characteristics, these key skills with you. And one creative characteristic, like you have to take along the whole team with you. So whenever there may be ample of obstacles, ample of challenges, everyday challenges, future challenges. So you have to be ready with that. You have to have persistent to uh, handle those obstacles and challenges. And social background, education, mobility, all such things are also important to be a leader. So if we old paradigm versus new paradigm, so there is a big change. Earlier, there stability was the key thing. Now there is change management. You have to learn, unlearn, relearn the things. So there is change and crisis management. Control. Earlier, there was leaders are expected to control the organization. Now leaderships are required at multiple levels. So you have to empower the people rather than controlling them. Earlier there were competitions there, now collaboration. So with you have for sharing the vision, for achieving the desired success in right terms, you have to collaborate with many people, various leaders as well. So now the era of collaboration is there. Instead of competition, collaboration is required. And uniformity versus diversity. So different people you need to have in this complex situation, complex scenario. You need to handle a group of people, the kind of people who are having diverse backgrounds, diverse skills. So, and managing them is not an easy task. It's not that so easy. Earlier, if you're self-centered, you may keep on working, but now it is required. You have to have high purpose in life. And heroism is not required. You need to be humble. As a leader, you are expected to be humble. But finding the right leader is the biggest challenge in itself. Then comes the what are the various challenges being posed to him. But finding a right leader is in itself a big challenge. Only 3% of the leaders feel confident while making business decisions. But companies, whether it is corporate or academics or any social, uh, everybody needs leadership at all the levels. And everywhere, at every level, to handle the uh, obstacles, to handle the challenges, leaders are required. So how can a leadership be developed? It can be developed through practice, with support, coaching, and right mentorship. An individual can become a good leader and overcome the challenges being posed to him. So it's not so success is not absence of challenges. It's about how can you overcome those challenges. So to grow as a leader, if you get the right kind of support, right kind of coaching and mentorship, you become the good leader. I remember long back, in, somewhere around 2000, and in Suzlon, I was given the responsibility of learning, uh, heading the learning center, training the whole training corporate head office of learning was there in Pune, and in Daman unit there were somewhere around 1,000 employees, and their learnings and their trainings has to be ensured. And in a highly innovative company in 2000, if you talk about somewhere around 20 years back, so when technology was quite new, and making sure that everybody is know about the organization, I have been given the charge to lead the team of learning, but it was a big task because uh, if you are not equipped enough, if you couldn't get the right kind of support, you cannot do it. So I was privileged. It's my good fortune that I got the people, leaders who encouraged me to work. They supported me like anything. So a lot of support is required, and if support is enough, and you can keep on learning. So it's not a one-day task. Uh, it's a journey. So when are the challenges of leadership most obvious? Whenever there are various day-to-day activities are maybe quite challenging in some of the organizations which are highly technology oriented or market based, but some of the common challenges like if some new product is about to be launched or something new is about to start, if a company is about to start a new venture, so that time that phenomena itself is a big challenge. And another task is something about to end, how to close it properly, how to complete one task properly. It is also a very big task. like financial year ending sort of thing. If you are if you are multi-product kind of company and you are making one product which is for one quarter and another is for next quarter, so ending one product or one services and starting with another is a very big task when times are tough. And not to say everybody is facing tough times for so long. So it is a big challenge for everybody. So times are tough, but we are supposed to face the challenges with full vigor and confidence. And during transition also, whenever some kind of changes are there in leadership or changes in the technology, changes in the workforce. So during transition also, leadership is a big challenge. So some of the challenges which are being given by the external environment and some of the challenges within is on your personal basis. Are you able to follow me?
Yeah, madam. Please continue, madam. The participants kindly message in the chat box if any clarifications are sought.
Okay, so some of the external challenges are which are derived from the outer work, like global scenario, economic events, political events, your organization itself, and other employees in the workplace. So these are the various external challenges. And, internal challenges occur on personal level within yourself, with you. So external change, some of the examples of external challenges are like any financial or political windfall. You see the condition of Afghanistan, which is it's going under a financial windfall and drastic political windfall as well. So there are external challenges due to collaboration. You are collaborating with some of the company for some kind of design or services, or collaboration with within the if a big group is there, they have got multiple services, multiple products, multiple organizations within big group. So there may be the requirement of collaboration. It may produce another kind of challenges. It is one of the big external challenge for leadership is insufficient resource. So if the resource, if you have to work with limited resources, insufficient resources, it's a very big challenge all the times, every time. It disrupts your whole planning, it disrupts your whole vision, objectives. It is very challenging to manage with insufficient resources. Further shortage of funding. So to run a business, to run a services, financial stability, financial backup is very much required. If lack of funding is there, it may pose a serious problem. It's a very challenging situation. Further, employee objections and resistance. In this, if you are undergoing through some kind of transition or change management, so with the policies, with the working conditions, with the product, with the services, there may be various objections by the employee, and Newton's law of inertia may prevail. It always prevails. So it's difficult to change the people. They don't want to come out of their routine tasks or comfort zone. So there may be a lot of resistance, and to overcome that resistance, that objection is not easy. Social issues among employees within the company. right kind of ambience is not there, right kind of collaboration is not there, communication is not there among the employees, it may create a big problem. Yes, if you're a leader, be ready for public criticism as well. How do you take that criticism, take it as a feedback, and if you can work upon those feedbacks or criticism, is still, if there are some of the decisions which are in the favor of the organization, in the favor of the vision of the organization, but it may be against the uh, employee, it may be against the satisfaction of the customer. So you have to have a optimum solution, amicable situation. You have to solve such kind of thing, handle such kind of situation very intelligently. And there may be interpersonal issues with others as well, crisis, any kind of crisis may arise, and opposition or hostility from powerful forces. So local forces, political forces, or a competitive company, if they are putting some kind of forces, your way of working may be affected. And internal challenges are many. Some of them are insecurities. If you are insecure, if you are not feeling confident, and defensiveness, sometimes you need to, most of the time you have to be offensive. You cannot work in a defensive mode always. And lack of decisiveness. So decision making, right decision making, timely decision making is every time expected from the leaders. Inability to, when there is a condition of problem, you cannot escape from it. You, as a leader, you are expected to give right direction. And inability to be objective is the task. You have to be objective. You cannot generalize the things always. Impatience, fear, lack of self-confidence. These are some of the challenges. So you have to, with right practices, you can come out of these fears, lack of confidence building exercises you can do. And it comes with, if you are equipped with the technology, if you are equipped with the knowledge, equipped with the management development, capacity development programs, gradually it will improve. So some of the challenges as a nature of leadership are keeping an eye on and communicating the vision. You are there for achieving the vision, so to realize the vision of the organization. So you have to keep an eye on the vision and communicate the vision and share the vision, which is not so easy. All the tasks, all the work that we are addressing, that your team is doing, they should direct towards accomplishment of the vision. If I talk about academics, so institute vision and mission, and departmental vision and mission, it should be in line with each other. Your departmental vision and mission should be in the direction of institute vision and mission, keeping the everyday under control while you are continuing to pursue the vision. So it is a constant effort is required. So every day, baby steps are required to pursue the vision. And as a role model, as a leader, you are supposed to set the example and remaining effective over time. Finding support is again a big task, because most of the time leaders feel themselves isolated. But it is important. Leadership is not challenges gives you an opportunity to grow personally as well as professionally. If everything is going smooth and life is a cakewalk and no challenges are there, then exclusiveness is not required. So to grow professionally as well as personally, if challenges are there, if you are ready to accept those challenges, if you come out of those challenges with your confidence, it's going to enrich you. And while accepting those challenges, while handling those challenges, some of the key additional skills are required. So if you learn those skills, if you acquire those skills while handling those challenges, it's going to be that what you gain because of challenge. So conquering the challenges in itself is a big learning. So you can handle the challenges by equipping yourself by problem solving, critical thinking skills, with your communication skills. You need to be calm under pressure and decisions that propel the team forward. In this way, a leader keeps the team focused on its objective and task that motivates the team to succeed in individual things. You have to communicate everybody. You have to realize that everybody is important, and you have to make them realize as well that they are important for the organization. And there are challenges inside the leaders. So you cannot blame the organization for your own shortfalls, of your own shortcomings. So take the bull by the horns and you are the bull. And as a leader, you must self-reflect and identify, be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with yourself every time. So introspection is required. What is stopping you to become a good leader? You need to identify. And determining the qualities that obstructs your leadership can help you overcome those leadership problems. Challenges can be handled if you overcome those problems associated with yourself. So as a leader, your team is looking for inspiration and motivation to complete their work. So you have to help the colleagues. You cannot be a boss. You have to be a leader. Let's go attitude needs to be there. So focus on the values that their work creates. So share the vision that they are working for a purpose. And for employee engagement, it is required, is critical to assign them to work towards the achievement of vision. And as a leader, what is expected? You have to be generous. You have to develop and other leaders as well. You need to delegate the authorities. A key part of your role as a leader is talent and employee development. So it is very much required that it is your responsibility to enrich your employees, the people working under you. You have to nurture their talents. You have to develop them. So find the potential in your people working under you and encourage their growth, help them to grow. And you are supposed to grow more leaders. You are supposed to create more leaders. Leading change is again a big task. It is expected. It is very much expected. And people are sometimes scary or uncertain. And leading a team under that condition is critical. If the people working under you are insecure, if they are uncertain, it's so difficult to lead that kind of team. So you have to listen to their fears, what kind of fear they have. So if you can handle those fear, those people will be your asset, and they will work for leading the change much required for the betterment of the organization. And if you help them, if you listen to them, and if you communicate them that if they change themselves, if the services, if the product or technology is being changed, uh, if you communicate the positive points of it, they will work towards you, work for the organization. Their resistance will be overcome. Like in automotive sector, if you talk about every automobile company, either having one or two, one of the products of based on electric vehicle, or supposed to launch in coming quarters. So there is a disruptive management sort of there. Re-engineering is required. Like IC engines won't be there, electric vehicles are there. So complete shift in the technologies. So people who were the experts of various segments like gearbox and all, like IC engines and all. So they have to upgrade them, so they have to relearn new technologies. Then only you will be able to sustain. So it is a big challenge for the leadership to prepare their workforce for the changes. And sometimes workplace handling different perspective, handling organizational conflict is also important. Sometimes you are supposed to handle the conflicts which are arising amongst the team members or with you and your employees as well. And if that conflicts prevail, it may be very damaging effect on you as a leader or for the whole organization. So what is expected that if amongst the employee there is some kind of differences are there, talk to them, try to solve the problem, listen to their problems. If it can be solved amicably, solve them. If it is with you and the employee, then listen to their point of view, and don't forget to accept it and to correct yourself. If you see that there is some valid point, you can correct yourself as well. And conflicting ideas sometimes can be challenged into positive, productive discussion. So it's not always so that I'm correct, you are wrong. You can handle the situation like I think you are right. It serves both the purpose. I don't agree with you, but I think you are right. So there is no harm in accepting others' idea if it is in the favor of the organization and meeting your objectives. Sometimes imposter syndrome is there with the leaders. It is a big challenge. You don't feel like that you are suitable for the leadership position. Sometimes in academic institutions, it happens that somebody has been elevated to the position of head of the department or giving the responsibility of innovations or responsibility of research and development. And if the person is suffering with imposter syndrome, the person may feel like that I am not suitable person. But if you have been given the opportunity, if you have been given the leadership position, so believe in yourself and the person who elevated you as a leader. So there is nothing wrong in asking for the help you need. So you can handle such situations. You may feel like that now you are all alone. It's not so. You can handle the situation by squash that imposter syndrome with the. You can ask for feedback from your peers, your managers, your leaders, and if honest feedback is there, you can correct yourself and keep on upskilling so that you can you can find yourself suitable for the new positions. So there may be two situations. One is when you become a leader, either you are new to the team or you have been promoted from within it. And then both the things are quite tricky. Like if you have been introduced to a new team as a leader, and suppose as the Institute is of Engineering and Technology, and organizing department is Industrial Engineering and Management. It's like suppose a big design company is there, like designing of a power plant, and as you know that power plant has got different components like generator, turbines, and various components of it, various elements of it. So it's if you are introduced to a new team and you have to lead it, you have to complete the task, you have to accomplish the work in a time within a time frame with high accuracy. So, and you are not aware about the skills of individual. So then it is a big task. Leading a new team is a big task. You need to know the potential of everybody, key skills of everybody. Then only you can give the task of designing to different people. Somebody is expert in designing of transformers, somebody is expert in the design of turbines, somebody is ready to accept the challenge of designing cooling system. So it's a big task. And if somebody if one of the employee has been raised to the level of leader of a if you assign the responsibility a person to lead the team, and the people who were your peers, now you have become their leaders, so their attitude towards you may be different, and it may be not be different, but your own reservations you can land into problems. So what is required? You have to build trust with new colleagues or manage a new dynamics with the old ones. Now you are their leader, so sometimes you have to give them tasks which they may not be happy with, but still you know their potential, you know their skills. So uh, balance in behavior, balance in attitudes is very much desirable. And leadership challenges in adaptive work. New roles and skills are a must for leadership in adaptive work. So, various industries are going under change. So how can you adapt the change? By constant learning and create a right ambience for learning, right ambience for innovations and change, and new efforts can be generated. You have to absorb the there should be a congenial atmosphere for generating idea, reflecting your idea, and you have to nurture those ideas. You have to keep on working those ideas so it can become an innovation. Start managing. If I talk about academics, ample of ideas are coming through students, through teachers. But if you don't breathe with that problem, don't carry on with that challenge, that innovation, that idea, it will die out. So grow those ideas into innovations, startups or entrepreneurship, you have to work rigorously. Adaptive changes are difficult, but their solutions require people to change. Yes, I agree that changing atmosphere, adapt yourself under the changing conditions is not easy, but with the right kind of solutions, with right kind of skills, with right attitude, you may reset yourself. So, as a leader, some of the challenges, toughest challenges are humility during success. So, it's very much required that you maintain your humility during success. And you are expected to be confident enough whenever there is some kind of setbacks. And as a leader, you are supposed to lift others, to delegate the authorities, so you can create new leaders. One of the biggest tasks is putting plans into action. There are ample of strategic decisions, there are ample of planning, but if plans are not turned into action, there is no use. So it is seen that 90% of the strategic plans never comes to execution. So putting plan into action in itself is very challenging, and leading the change is also a big task. Leaders just don't do things, they change things. Self-awareness, honesty, we already discussed this point, and you have to have the courage to say, I was wrong. Always listen, as a leader, you have to be a good listener. So listen to at the point with the point to learn. Encourage constructive brainstorming sessions. So it gives you new idea, new way of solving the problems. Learn about new technologies. Learn about how to challenge future challenges, about global condition, about the market conditions, what your competitors are doing. So it's coming to a solution, design solution. So for all such things, you need to have regular brainstorming sessions. Learn from your criticism, ask for feedback. You have to focus on the future and building the team. Some of the challenges are contemporary challenges are there, that rapid change in the technology, drastic changes in the speed of the technology is there, and social conditions, economic conditions are changing at a very fast pace. Further, UN Sustainable Development Goals are there. You have to reduce the pollution. You have to save for the future. You have to save the planet for the future. All your practices should be your organizational practices, your processes should not increase the carbon footprint. Also, these are environmental issues. These are the big challenges. New tax reforms are there, like GST and all. So further global economic challenges are there. Earlier West was leading, now Eastern global market is a big market. So global scenario is changing. Further privatization, as you know already, it's going on. Privatization is posing a big challenge for leadership as well. Industry 4.0 is requiring a lot of technologies. So you have to equip your organization, your workforce, your team, yourself to learn those technologies. So these are some of the points which are being faced by every organization nowadays. Not nowadays, it's always, rather I will say always, like enterprises deal with prioritization exercise. Like in your own work, like in academics also, you deal with prioritization. So, and most of the time you are dealing with less resources, less people, less time. So it's very challenging. With, as in during COVID condition also, due to some of the issues, due to lack of funds, due to sharp decline in demand, production is reduced. So workforce, uh, they are supposed to reduce their workforce size as well. So, and as a leader, what is expected? In less time with less people, you have to give the desired results. And most of the time, you are doing the things which are urgent. As a leader, as a person, most of the time you invest in urgent tasks. There is a meeting, there is some conference, there is some keynote, there is some kind of meeting with local authorities, meeting with academic policy leaders. So you are engaged in urgent tasks at the cost of important tasks. So it's like if your health is there, and if you are not taking it, it is not urgent. It's not urgent to every day make a walk, exercise. But if you don't address this issue, if you don't lead a healthy lifestyle, in future you are at risk. You are at risk of health issues which may arise due to leading a bad lifestyle. So then it becomes urgent. So don't do that. You have to have right kind of time management. You have to keep yourself refrain from engaged in mundane activities. So it's important to share your time with important as well as urgent tasks. There are some tasks which are important as well as urgent, and there are some tasks which are not so important but urgent. But in leadership, most of the time you are involved in the things which are not so important but urgent. You have to balance that. And if your team size is quite large, it is there that some of the people may feel like that their opinions are not being taken care of, they are not being heard. So that kind of situations must be avoided. And COVID is producing different kind of challenges. We are undergoing fourth industrial revolution, and nanotechnology, bioscience, renewable energies, AI, big data, high performance computing, IoT. They have there are many disruptive innovations over the last decade. So we are undergoing a big change, and you have to prepare yourself to lead changes. Smart manufacturing, like 3D printing, additive manufacturing, product development, supply chain management. All such things are part of industrial revolution. So human dimensions are digitized. It's a big challenge for leaders to handle those challenges intelligently, optimally. So organizations are finding it very difficult to develop future ready leaders. There was one survey carried out by Deloitte. As we know that 21st century's leaders are expected to be a new leader. So what we say, that traditional characteristics of leadership are no more. It's not so. Those characteristics are still required, but with in a new dimension with new requirements. So, ability to lead through more complexity and ambiguity. So, what do you believe are the unique requirement for 21st century leaders? So, 81% of the people give their feedback that ability to lead through more complexity and ambiguity is very much required, 81%. Ability to lead through influence. There are various leadership style, but influential cannot be authoritative. You are supposed to be influencing. Ability to manage on a remote basis. So this is the new dimension introduced. Earlier we were working in physical mode, offline mode, but now we are supposed to manage most of the things offline. So managing on a remote basis is again a big challenge. A lot of industrial innovations, digitization, automation is implemented in the industry. So you have to manage workforce which is a combination of human and machines. So 47% of the requirement is there. Ability to lead more quickly, so it's required. Then another survey. What do you think there is a difference in the unique requirement for 21st century leaders? So some of the unique requirements which are there in 21st century, like new technologies. So many new technologies are coming, right from the programming language. There were C, C Sharp, C++, Java, PHP, etc. And now Python and R programming, and so many new things are coming. So it's the one aspect. I'm talking about only one area. In every where new simulation softwares are coming, and new tools of learning are there, new tools for assessment. So a lot of new technologies are there. Pace of change, changing at a largest 66%, changing demographies and employee expectation. So earlier the people were working within the organization, within a small demography. Now they are working across the globe. From a new culture of work from home is there. So I don't think so it's going to be completely out once the situation will be normal. It's not going to be safe. Changing customer expectation. So whether you are in services, whether you are a product-based company, manufacturing-based company, service-based organization, changing, you have to meet the customer expectation. In a competitive atmosphere, customer expectation are meeting customer expectation is also new requirement. Traditional leadership expectation and outcomes are still required, but new set of competencies are required in a new context. So, what is there? Leadership today involves a combination of traditional expectations and new competencies. So focus on individual leaders and their personal performance. So traditionally, what was there? Individual leaders, their personal performance was the main concern. Now what is there? Leaders are expected to be member with leadership quality, and they should be able to develop the team. And you are expected as a leader, the leaders are expected to work more closely with the remaining people. business financials earlier, what was expected? This business financials and shareholders returns are primary outcomes. But now business with a purpose, profit and purpose, both are required. So pursuing business success as part of the social in social context, ability to create a communicate purpose to your stakeholders is required. Executing financial and investment stewardship is no more. Now you have to empower them, you have to set direction and align the workforce or adapt the changes, the changes required for handling with the new set of skills. The pace of change demands that the organization be able to sense, lead and extend their ability to meet and exceed financial goals. It's not only profit, it is not only financial goals which are to be met. Social responsibility, social audits, and business with the purpose is required. Delivery consistent and stable. What was expected earlier as a leader, that you have to deliver consistently stable result, always profit kind of thing. But it's not enough now. You are supposed to handle the situation which are quite complex and difficult situations. Lot of new technologies are there, and this kind of situation, continuously changing innovative conditions, you have to look for new solutions, new opportunities, new ventures. Traditional leadership required executive marketing and customer services, and now new leadership competency desirable is staying up to date and anticipating changing customer and market expectations. So you see that a lot of new every month or rather fortnight, new mobile models are coming. New cell phones are coming with new features, new pixels, new processor, new capacity, storage capacity, quality. So you have to be updated. You have to continuously change yourself. You be ready to adapt yourself to meet the changing customer satisfaction. Maintaining operational efficiency and performance was required earlier. Innovative to consistently improving operation and product and services. There are significant transformation in the way organizations were working, their processes. It is more automated, it is more digitized. So you have to empower your organization, your people, to meet the rapid change. Managing structures and career and talent programs. And now what is required? Motivating a diverse workforce. If I talk about academics, there were very limited kind of expectations, like as a teacher, you are supposed students in a different organization with high package, but what is there? Now the expectations are much more than that. You are supposed to handle innovations. You are supposed to have entrepreneurship-based development programs. You are supposed to have funded projects with you. So, as a leader, if you have to manage the people with diverse skills, is not easy. Supervising technology and programs that enable common processes. Constantly increasing technical savings to take advantage of digital data and opportunities. There may be cost involved, there may be cost cutting as that associated with. Managing risk and quality, these were the traditional leadership challenges, expectation, and integrating and deepening focus on risk and quality at every level is required. Changing customer expectation are the customer, whenever we advertise, brand building is a big thing. Uh, there were earlier the companies, corporates were supposed to have brand building only. Now academic institutions are in the era of digital marketing, putting a lot of effort as well for brand building. So for advertising, for the customer should have fun, feel, or fantasy, any of the element associated with it. So if branding of institution is concerned, you have to decide what kind of fun you can reflect, what kind of feeling you can associate with it, what kind of fantasy you can associate with it. So for that, there are so with this talk, I think so. It's you must be feeling that leadership is synonym of challenges. So, but believe me, it's so. So isolation is one thing that most of the leaders are facing. If you are isolated, uh, there is a lack of honest feedback. If you ask for feedback, people out of courtesy or out of your fear, out of losing your job or something, for losing the equation with you, losing the resonance with you, they may lack, they may be reluctant to give the right feedback. Honest feedback is missing, and you may lack emotional intelligence, how to be self-aware, how to self-regulate yourself, how to be socially aware. So there is further connection among all these. If you are isolated, you won't get the honest feedback, and if you won't get the right feedback, how can you be, you can become emotionally intelligent. Authority versus influence. So now authority is not expected from you. As a, if you have to manage knowledge workers, like knowledge workforce, it's a human resource. Knowledge, managing knowledge human resource is very difficult. Which there should always be a atmosphere of mutual respect. Authority, you can influence them, but authority is no more welcome. Leading and managing change effectively. And ultimately, your vision, your implementation of change, who is going to implement? Your middle level man. You may influence them, you can lead them, ultimately, but the people who are turning your plans, your vision, your implementation of change, they are the people who are in the middle level. So develop leadership skill and confidence in them as well. Criticism is always associated with you have to handle them with a lot of patience. Breaking the barriers. If the organization size is large, if you are quality oriented, technology oriented organization, you have to communicate across the teams, across the organization. And further, it is quite difficult to pass on, share the and thinking a big picture. Each and every component of the organization, each and every optimal harnessing, maximum harnessing of the resources of entire organization is quite challenging. Further, sometimes people may outrightly reject you as a leader, and you may be misunderstood. So there are a lot of political scenario. We have seen that states, various state chief ministers are being changed. So in corporates also it happens, in academics it happens. So if people are not ready to accept you, what will be in the favor of the organization? Either continue with the same leadership or change it. It's a crucial decision. Pressure and perplexity. leaders they must face the challenge of the responsibility and demands. Those are associated with leadership. They are supposed to make critical decisions due to various constraints, financial, like in COVID conditions. In various organizations, uses of cutting the workforce, reduction in the pay packages. So communicating these kind of things is not easy. These are, it's not so that the organization is not in favor of the organization, is not is with not with the organization, with the people, but external pressure, their financial constraints, work conditions, demand of the people. There are various factors are there which are pressurizing them to make different decisions. And leaders are the people who are responsible to work under pressure. So some of the ways you can cope up with challenges are, you have to be proactive. Don't wait for the crisis to arise. Be proactive. Be creative. In this changing high-speed technology world, what is expected? You have to be creative. Face conflicts squarely, and always look for common ground to work. Retain your objectivity. Always look for new opportunity to collaborate with others within the organization, out of the organization. Good listening is very much required. Listen to the criticism, listen to the problems of the people. And in the AICT also 360 feedback is required. So in every system, you have to work upon your shortcomings. You need to have feedbacks of the people, of your seniors, of your juniors, of your peers, stakeholders, everybody. So always look at what's going on around you. And if you're facing some kind of internal challenges, ask for help. These two, somewhere around 1.5 years, most of people, whether it is employee or people at home or leaders, they are undergoing through a lot of mental health issues. And a lot of internal challenges are already there. So there is no harm in asking for help. There are solutions available. If problems are there, solutions are always there. You have to find the right solution. That's it. Create mechanism to revisit your vision. So there should be some mechanism while laying down your vision. If your vision is 20 years back, your vision might be different. But with changing scenario, there should be some mechanism to revisit, align your vision with the changing condition. Share the burden. There is no harm in asking for help. Delegate the authority. Don't feel that you are indispensable for them. Yes, nobody is indispensable. You are important. Everybody is important. But if you give them a chance to grow, new leaders may be created, and you need to pass on the values of the organization. Find an individual or group with whom you can discuss the realities of leadership. You can be people within the organization or out of the organization who may help you, with whom you can discuss your problems, and you can share your views, you can get the right kind of feedback. And it's very important to have personal time. It's very, very important. Whenever some accomplishment is there, if much desired success is achieved, enjoy it, enjoy your success, celebrate your success with your employees, with your family, and have some personal time for yourself always. So professional, as a professional and a leadership, uh, the initial stage we are doing, then directing, then inquiring leaders, and senior leaders are inspiring. Now, these are this part of the discussion was mainly based on the various challenges and how can you meet those challenges. Now I'm coming to a different model of change. Sometimes what is required, current level change management model is there. Suppose there is a block of ice and you need to change its color. So how can you change its color as well as its shape? Suppose two attributes of ice block has to be changed without breaking. How can you do it? One way is to break it. So another way is it's always better to unfreeze it, melt ice, change, infuse the colors, add the colors you want to, refreeze it in a new mold. So there will be new shape. So that kind of unfreezing and refreezing is required in the organizations as well. So it's not so in academics also. Sometimes we need to unlearn the things. We need to unlearn and relearn. Old practices are not, it's difficult to hard to change them, but if change management is there required, you have to undergo this kind of situation. Now this part of the presentation will be there for academic leadership. So may I continue, or we will need a break kind of thing? Dr. Rajesh, what should I do? Should I continue?
Madam, sorry for the delayed response, madam.
Yeah.
Maybe request the participants to post any questions. Participants, please post the questions in case. I think it is very clear and true, madam. So I think participants are following the inputs that's been shared.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yes. Yeah, somebody has responded. I think Varadaraj sir has responded. I think it can be continued, proceeded, madam. We'll just go with the question and answers at the later half of the session, madam.
So academic leadership is its responsibility lies with both administrators as well as with academicians. Uh, so to strive to create positive change in educational policy and processes. You are supposed to guiding learners and teachers both for improving the educational processes. It is not an easy task. It's not it's not easy not to crack. It involves interaction with every stakeholder of the institution. So most of the organizations are, or most of the academic institutes are already working for, either they are accredited by NBA or they have got NAC accreditation. So we realize that it's not every stakeholder is important. The view of the feedback of the every stakeholder is required. So you have to keep on interacting with industry, with your students, with parents, alumni, society. Then only you can plan your academic processes. And it's very true. It's always there that faculty members are the foundation of academic leadership. They do valuable classroom management and develop teaching methodologies. How innovative are they? It depends on their the way they teach. They also provide constructive feedback for curriculum improvement. That feedback is required from industry as well, from the stakeholders as well. What kind of curriculum improvement is expected? What kind of, how can we improve the, upgrade the curriculum for increasing the employability of the students. It requires academic leadership needs professional training as well as educational qualification. So it's already laid down by the policy makers. So what are the there are, and moon in disguise kind of thing is there. You are there, people more than 100 learners are there on other ends, and I'm also one of the learners who are interacting with you. So, and it's a different kind of situation. Earlier it was very difficult to get these many FDPs. So now lot of opportunities to learn are there. Ample of sources of learning is there. So though this pandemic has posed a very difficult situation for us, but new opportunities, new way of working is there. So I think it's going to enrich us. It's going to give us a blended learning kind of environment is there in the organization, in the institutes we could never imagine. Teachers do so. It is required to have right kind of professional training as well as educational qualifications. So while the academic leadership is required to frame well-defined policies and programs so that teaching, learning results in growth and development of the society. As an individual, the professionals that we are nurturing and the kind of tools, kind of learnings, kind of knowledge, practical learnings that we are imparting them, ultimately we are working towards their growth, individual growth, as well as the development of the society, as the development of the country, as the development of the whole planet. To execute the programs and activities of the organization so that its objective may be achieved. This is required by the academic leadership to ensure optimum use, conservation, and proper management of the resources. We have got different kinds of different labs are there, different resources, financial resources are there, technology is there with you, right brains are with you, creative people are with you. So how to optimally use them, it's not easy task. It's your responsibility as a leader to grow, to work for the organization, to work for the individual development of the faculty members, of the students, everybody. To motivate and train the educators, to maintain favorable conditions for learners and educators alike. The right congenial, happy environment is required, where mind is without fear. That kind of atmosphere is required. And we are expecting an overall development through education. What are the key functions of academic institutions? Teaching and learning, we are very much part of it. Everybody is doing, it's a long practice. Teaching, learning, we are expected to design, update and deliver academic programs, implement multiple and effective teaching styles appropriate to the students. All the students cannot be engaged on a uniform scales. We have to have group learning, we have to have individual learning. so that blended learning. So we have to keep on experimenting new teaching methodologies. Further, one area is very important for academic institution is research technology. In all the accreditation framework, the research is is of high concern. Whether we talk about NEP 2020, it's very much on interdisciplinary research and emphasizing on appropriate on high-end research. Frame research agenda, conduct research in basic and applied field of research, enhance advanced research through appropriate technologies, outreach and extension. So as a institute, as an academic institutions we have got a big responsibility on us to inculcate societal and values of national importance. We are supposed to, society are looking to the institute as a problem solver. Our technology, our way of working should address the problems of the society. So there should be close interaction between academics and industry, as well as society and the researchers, as well as the students. So they can closely find out the problems and can look for their suitable solutions. It is expected to promote activities for betterment of the institutes as well as society. So there are some of the ways how can you achieve the goals of the organization by virtual learning. New component of AI-based learning is there, AI-based assessment is there, proctored exam, it's based on AI. There are various assessment tools to find out the potential of your students, their core competency, their other competency. So AI is everywhere. It's strongly there in academics as well. Resource-based learnings, meeting local needs, centralized mechanism, comprehensive academic modules, delivery to learners, easy access to learning. There, you see in this current era of lot of digital learnings, ICT-based courses, resources should be easily accessible. So more people can be aware about take benefit out of the content. And collaborations are required with industry and amongst the top institutions, academics as well. So key qualities required for academic leadership is working in aligned with organizations. Individual organization may have different goals, but you are supposed to align your working with the vision of the institute, goal of the institute. Believe in decentralization of the duty. You cannot hold all the responsibility with you. You have to have different people at leading position. Decentralize the duties. So as an individual, as in different departments, different cells, they can grow themselves. Anticipation of changing traits. Lot of dynamic conditions are there. If I talk about the various courses in engineering itself, various new technologies like data science, artificial intelligence, robotics, mechatronics, and many more, virtual reality, virtual augmentation, they are there. So what's the changing trend? What are the expectation of the industry? How our students can become more employable? How the research of our people is in line with the industry demand? We have key leadership people in leadership position are required to anticipate those changes. So prepare your students, your learners in that line. Like if somebody is there, suddenly the demands for core jobs like in mechanical and electrical are less, in electronics they are declining. So how can we compensate it? We can give some minor one component is major, another can be minor. They can learn some new technologies like data science, AI, and implementation, application part of it can be more beneficial for them. So if leadership is can anticipate it, forecast it. So if right decisions are taken at the right time, in the right atmosphere, right with the support of the people. But for that, you have to have high-end people, the people, your faculty members who are equipped with new technology. You have to develop that forces as well. Flexibility in changing policies. So there should be, with the changing condition, there should be changes in the policy as well. Acquiring skills and adapting changes. So these are some of the key qualities required for academic leaders. And this, I will share the presentation with you all. So roles of academic leaders at a glance. Administrative activities are being performed by academic leaders as faculty members. Most of the leaders are contributing in academics as well. Recruiting, admitting new students, orienting them, orientation of the students, fostering teaching, updating and developing curriculum, services, outreach, creating supportive and productive work environment, feedbacks, managing space and facilities, coordinating fundraising from external resources, complying with various policies, rules and regulation, and brand building. These are there with academic leaders. As a faculty members, teaching classes, developing curriculum, including and integrating technology in curriculum implementation. So this is the new way of academics, new way of teaching. So, though we are in professional education, professional institute, so quite technology is not new, but in most of the part of the country, a significant number of the institutes, number of faculty members, they are not, their institutes, their organization, their universities are not equipped with sufficient resources, digital resources. So it's a very challenging atmosphere. It's very challenging for them. Suddenly, condition of lockdown was there. Different schools, different institutes, different universities, they started working in digital mode. So they came out of their comfort zone. They learned new technology. It was a big opportunity for everybody as well. So services and support to various constituencies like participation on college and university governance, participating on college university search committees, meeting goals of parent institutions, performing leadership tasks in professional association and networks, conducting extension activity, communicating with all stakeholders. So these are some of the roles of academic leaders. There are much more than that. Unsaid responsibilities. So academic leaders are there in developed countries. It's industry and university, they are for inventions, innovations and research, and developing countries are looking for opportunities. So some of the main challenges in higher education are ICT resources, and it is very much suitable. This is the ICT resources are very much in use. On SWAM portal, lot of online MOOCs courses are there. Even AICT's model curriculum, they have introduced honors degree only after the completion of MOOCs courses of 20 credits with new education policy. Exchange of credits is there. So um, investment in e-resources is required. It is desirable for all organizations, all institutes, but still it's a difficult, it is not realistic to assume that each and every organization is equipped, every institute is equipped with all ICT resources. A lot of work needs to be done in this direction. And because it requires investment in that direction, recording room and all, it's required, it requires a lot of various digital tools. It's a big investment. Excellence in teaching. So how can you achieve excellence in teaching if low student teacher ratios is there? Every one day, every second day we are reading one news or the other about low student teacher ratio in IITs, in IIMs, in NITs, in government institutions, in private institutions. So you cannot achieve excellence in teaching with low student ratio. So on one hand, there are other challenges related to admissions and placements, employability, and other challenges maintaining high student teacher ratio. High quality, high output research is required. It is main emphasis of academic institutions. So innovations are a lot of opportunities for innovations are there. New MSME objectives, new policies are there. Definition of MSME has already been changed. So it's creating very good opportunities. But how to promote innovations, how to promote startups, that kind of culture, that kind of creativity, that kind of uniqueness in the ideas of the students, of the faculty members to work for innovation, it's quite challenging. And it's our social responsibility. This is the social responsibility of the academic institutes to impart education to society. So the sources which of use of society, they should be easily accessible as well. Some of the control factors for higher education are curriculum content. If you are affiliated university like the institute I am working with is affiliated to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University. It has got its own curriculum. So we are supposed to follow its curriculum, but due to our demography, our requirement may be different. So curriculum content is one of the control factor. Institutional forms and structures. Each and every institute, every university has got its own structure, and sometimes reformation of the total reform in the structure is required. And if it is not done in time, it's going to affect the organization negatively. Funding and resources for running all the good work, quality work, funds are required, resources are required. Accountability. So accountability lies with higher education and as well as the people leading it. institutional development is required, brand building is required. Gradually, we see that with the policies, number of institutes are going to be limitized. Their numbers are going to be reduced. So it's a survival of the fittest, survive the people who are going to give quality education, quality research. Then only survival of the institution is there, and professional development of yourself as well as of the people working under you. So higher education expected to have the capacity to lead the change and development, and change and development is based on science and technology and innovation. So most of the institutes are operating with limited resources. So if managing with limited resources requires high level of leadership skills, and it's not like any other enterprise. It's a very expensive enterprise. It's a big organization in terms of it's a kind of workforce. It has got, they are highly paid, they are expensive. It's an expensive affair. It involves highly qualified manpower, and leading knowledge human resources is quite challenging in itself. And sometimes leaders who themselves are not prepared enough to work in a very fast changing scenario. So synchronizing large academic syllabus with industry based teaching and employability skills are a big challenge. We are supposed to complete the academic syllabus within within time frame, within the semester, and industry, we are with academic expectation of the industry, we are supposed to give them industry based teaching and employability, right employability skills. It's a very difficult situation. In the current scenario, most of the internship programs, industry based teaching, and the vocational trainings are in the online mode. And if everything cannot be learned online, it's better to accept that it's not possible to teach everything in online mode. There are a lot of experimental work, a lot of research which cannot be done online. So maintaining the balance between all three components is very difficult. So academic leaders are supposed to different aspects of reformation. Authentic assessment is a big thing. I interacted with controller of examination of the university. Our institute is the part of VIQTube, which is one of the largest university, state university, technical university, with more than 700 colleges. And conducting online assessment of such a big system is a big task, because technology has got its own limitation. Bandwidth and all. Then lot of technology based tools like AI based tools, AI based assessment, AI based exams, all such are required. So who are supposed to handle academic leaders? So diverse pedagogy is there. So how to balance a right mix of them is a big task. But there are some sweet fruits as well. Impact of good leadership has got its own impact. Fulfillment of the goal of the organization. It's profit with the purpose. Increase interaction between leaders and education. Enhancement of various skills amongst the students. If you are able to guide them properly, they will be skilled. You can ensure their lifelong learning as well. If you have got good interaction with the alumni, you can ensure lifelong learning as well. Sense of recognition amongst learners and educators. A good rapport between academics and administration. So these are some of the good aspects of good leadership. In 21st century, we know there are various challenges like limited resources, fast technology, highly competitive area. During COVID-19, academics were forced to adapt to move to online settings, online teaching, mentoring, research, support activities were quite challenging. Decision makers or leaders were supposed to make large educational communities communicating to the students in such a big um, as we know that in various academic online platforms there is limitations, so people devise their own mechanism of online lectures, online video, videos and etc, how to communicate with the students of large group, online meetings with teachers and staffs, finding out their needs, assessing their performance. It's not COVID exposed us to big challenges. So, so now everybody is striving hard, whether it is industry, it's government, people, everybody is striving hard to make the conditions normal. We are also trying our best to make the conditions normal, and I hope that in near futures we will be uh, we won't face some of the challenges which are due to COVID only. And if we work together with the right purpose and humanity is going to give us a new edge. And further challenges, as we know, NUP has been introduced in the time of COVID itself. So the current situation, its implementation is quite challenging. Accreditation is a big challenge, and it requires highly effective leadership at all the levels. You have to work throughout the year. Then only you can meet up. You have to breathe with it. Managing and leading innovations, entrepreneurship is also crucial. MSMEs were giving a lot of new opportunities, and harnessing those opportunities, utilizing those opportunities and policies, requires dynamic leadership. Brand building of institution is demanding for consistent effort by the leaders. So, that is all about the talk, and some of the big leaders, though I'm belittling them if I'm mentioning only few. A lot of leaders are there, but if we talk about Jamshedji Tata, who is the founder of Tata & Sons, and he started with the vision of building India, not in terms of steels or not in terms of other services. He founded the institute ISC Bangalore in your own place. So, JRD Tata, who was credited with highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, for his vision, for his contribution for the industry, for the society as a whole. So these are the organizations, these are the leaders who have got a strong vision, who worked with it. They worked for their employees, they worked with the stakeholders, they worked with the country and for the whole humanity, for all. So that kind of leadership is it's not so that they haven't faced challenges. It's always associated with they've gone through various challenges, and they were having very strong vision, very strong, consistent, and implementation plans. And 2/3 of the share of Tata is in philanthropic kind of work. So it's a big organization. Their leaders are not leading a very luxurious kind of life. They are living in normal apartments and all, not like other companies. Most of the big organizations in the world, they started philanthropic work once they achieved up to some status. When they made sufficient profit, then only they started philanthropic approach. But Jamshedji Tata, B.R.D. Tata, and further legacies continued with Ratan Tata, and also they all followed the vision of their leaders of contributing for the society, contributing for the nation, business with the purpose. And in academics, if we talk about one great leadership, is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam ji, former our president, who was recipient of Bharat Ratna, true academician, true leader, academic leader who inspired students, who inspired all of the people who did significant research. And India is his contribution for the nation is very significant, strong. We cannot define. So it's with this, I would like to conclude that leadership is a collaborative process that unites talents and workforce with other stakeholders. There is a need for constant need of leadership building and upskilling to face the leadership challenges. And it is academic leadership. We have to ensure that success in education through process, material, and training improvements. We have to realize that educators are the founders of education leadership. They not only manage the students, but also the education for the front. Every academic level has career opportunities, and as internal quality benchmarks should be there. So the institute should work in that framework so that leadership can be merged within the organization. And again, there are challenges, but you have to overcome those challenges. I worked with various organizations like in Suzlon. I worked with Mr. R. Bakul. He was a fantastic leader. At that time, he was director of engineering, but I learned so many lessons from him. The way he closely worked with each and every employee, was fantastic. Waaree Instruments, Suzlon is one of the leading organizations in the field of wind energy. Waaree Instruments, they are leading in solar panels. I worked them. I was there in their laboratory, which was NABL certified. I implemented a small automation there, like there were some kind of calibration certificates producing, and he recognized that thing, and that gave me a big boost that yes, I can do something new, and it will be recognition is a big thing. Professor Anurag Tripathi, who is handling, who is the current controller, he is managing a big system of 750 colleges with lakhs of institutes, lakhs of students, managing them. Their exams is a big task. Sir Bharti Dwivedi, she is professor, very influential professor. Professor Agrawal. These are the various, my very close friend, my Arna Susarla, she is a senior director in design and PayPal. So, and for MOOCs, for academic leadership, I took a lot of content from the MOOCs course, which is available on SWAM portal on leadership and governance in higher education. So I will share the presentation with you as well. So thank you so very much for sparing your precious time and patient learning. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I'm here to,
Yeah, so well,
if you have got
President,
any query, I'm open to.
Madam, yeah,
the forum is now open to the participants to please post the questions in case you have any sort of clarifications you seek from the speaker. Because we do understand it's so challenging. Leadership is really a challenging task. So Madam has very well executed the presentation. Yeah, that's what. I think we are getting all the positive response from our participants saying that it was well accepted, and yeah, the presentation went on very fine and smooth. May I request you to please post any questions if required? Okay. Okay. I think that's how we can conclude because most of the participants have responded positively. It appears that I think all things are clear, and I'm very happy that can we all be unmuted? Okay, 1 minute, madam. It is unmuted. Sir, it is unmuted. Can we? Sir, it is unmuted. Manoj, sir? Okay. Noted. Okay. Just check now, sir. Just check now.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. That's fine. Ma'am, in your, I think, very initial slides, when you're talking about the, we can say, characteristic of a leader, in which very last characteristic was, you said the word, I guess, wellness. So can you elaborate on this property? What you're actually talking about,
Wellness
wellness.
of all. It's more related to well-being. You have to have that kind of communication, that kind of you have to, if it is, if your organization, your service, your product is addressing some kind of value, and your whole organization, you are not you are working for only for profit, you are not keeping care of your employees, your stakeholders, your wellness of everybody is, you have to keep in mind. So that is the wellness. In, if I'm, maybe I'm not very correct, I'm not a person,
Actually,
I'm
ma'am,
more of
what I
academic.
thought you were talking about individual characteristic or property of a leader, standalone. You're talking about from honesty to all this thing. So I thought it may be like harmony in mind, body, and
It's
soul.
a
You're talking
universal
about.
acceptance. Rather, I will say universal acceptance, the rules which are there. So, like these are the qualities which are desirable for all good traits of a person. So, wellness is one of the quality which is very much expected from the leaders as well.
Great, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you so very much, all the participants and the organization, and thank you so much, Professor M. Rajesh, for giving me an opportunity to interact with you all. And I'm thankful to AICT for giving me this opportunity to interact with such an August gathering. Thank you so very much. Thanks a lot.
It's really an honor and a pleasure to have you on the panel, madam. It's really good that you made a wonderful presentation about the challenges of leadership. And hopefully, I think all our participants are really benefited with the issues that are concerned to the theme area. So on behalf of the Department of IEM, MS Ramaiah Institute of Technology, and the participant present here, I wholeheartedly thank you, madam, for sparing your valuable time and then sharing all your richest experiences in the field of